Alright. Okay, so I've sold everything off. Now let's make our journey down into Blackreach. But before we do that, I'm just gonna go ahead and use the bedroll over here. I don't know if... Jeez, you know, I don't remember if I'm on... Am I using the Lover's Stone? I think I am. If I'm not, I don't remember. Oh, anyway. Afflin Cathedral, here we come, and, Blackreach just beyond. But yeah, I don't remember if sleeping... I don't think that sleeping stacks. Nope, didn't leave anything. I don't think that sleeping stacks with the Lover's Stone or any of the other stones. I don't remember. Ooh. I thought this tonal lock would make noise. Well, then again, Septimus did say something about too low for hearings, I believe was his specific words. Can you not hear it? Too low for hearings? Alright. Blackreach, hello. God, this place was always such an eye-opener whenever, I mean, it's obviously made to... Nothing? That's strange. It's obviously made to really be... I mean, I want to say that Blackreach is made to be one of the most, like, eye-opening spectacles that you explore in the game. This place is pretty big. Easy to get lost down here, too. Alright, you were supposed to die whenever... Ow! You dick! You metallic dick! Just thought... That actually came off a little bit wrong. Oh, man. Stupid... Balmer. Jeez. I wonder how many of them I'm gonna have to put up with down here. Blackreach is one of the few things in the game that I know very little about in the grand scheme of things, other than the fact that... Okay, but just... Ebony, we'll go ahead and pick this up. Blackreach is one of the few places in the game that I don't really explore all that much, mainly because I'm not a main quest type of person. I don't really play it all that much. For, you know, I think the 750 hours that I've put into Skyrim at this point, between all the versions of the game. Hello, the Crimson Nirnroot. A return to your roots. Wonderful. Just an absolute callback to the long quest of seeking your roots from Oblivion, which, God, Oblivion was such a good game. I stream it every once in a while, if you're interested. Oh my God, Rerum Dorenis. I actually read that book out loud on a separate series that I did on my channel a while ago. Oh, I was reading books in the Elder Scrolls, and didn't get through too many, but I think I read a handful, maybe as many as 5. It wasn't too many. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I do stream, for those of you who are unaware. Usually, holy crap, it's another tune in the sphere. Usually on Mondays and Saturdays, because well, those are just the days that I stream, Mondays and Saturdays, around noon US Central, so... Oh boy, alright, well let's just finish up looting this place and then we'll take a look at ye old skeleton corpse here, because that's... Well, oh, sorry about that, Sinderion. Jeez, alright. What have you got on you? A journal. Oh boy. Alright, let's crack this thing open and take a look. Sinderion's Field Journal. 4th Era, 58. 2nd Seed, Midas. I've spent a large portion of my life unraveling the mystery of the Nirnroot, and yet I still feel unfulfilled. The trilling sound this strange herb emits seems to taunt me, to push me even harder to discover its secrets. Even after a generous and indomitable traveler became a field collector in my stead and provided me with 5 score of the Nirnroot, I was only able to muster what I consider a mediocre alchemical creation at best. This only served to strengthen my hunger and whet my appetite for the solution. It wasn't until over 50 years later that the answer to my prayers was carried into my basement workshop at the Westweald Inn. The first thing I heard was the familiar tone. That unmistakable warble unique to the Nirnroot. But when I turned around, my heart leapt and a chill ran down my spine. This was indeed a Nirnroot, but a variety the likes of which I had never seen. The herb was awash with a spectacular array of red hues, each leaf seemingly emblazoned with innumerable varieties of crimson. I couldn't move. I was completely transfixed. Never in my wildest dreams could I have imagined a species of nirnroot with such a unique property. After an awkward silence, I finally managed to stammer out a few questions to the traveler who brought me this treasure. He told me his name was Obeth Arnisian, a treasure seeker from Skyrim. Apparently, he'd been exploring a vast subterranean network of grand caves called Blackreach, and had stumbled across what he dismissed as a, quote, noisy red weed. His expedition was largely unsuccessful, and he didn't want to leave the caves empty-handed, so Obeth picked one of the Crimson Nirnroots to bring home. He said it took some time, but eventually he was pointed my way and that perhaps I'd pay a fair price for it. Before I could gather my wits and ask anything else, Obeth offered to sell me the Crimson Nirnroot sample, a map showing me how to find Blackreach, and the strange key needed to breach its outer defenses. It took me mere moments to decide. Obeth left Skingrad 1,000 septims richer, but I would have easily paid 10 times that amount to obtain just the sample alone. It took a year of planning, but I was able to pack up and sell my workshop and make my way to Skyrim. Before delving headfirst into Blackreach, I knew I needed to set up a new laboratory, but wished to do so in seclusion. After making inquiries at the College of Winterhold, of which I was an honorary member, I was directed to speak to Avrusa Sorethi, a student of botanical alchemy who had a small farm near the city of Riften. By bartering my knowledge of nirnroot cultivation, I was able to secure Sorethi Farm as a launching point for my field research. I kept the knowledge of the Crimson Nirnroot a secret from Avrusa, but imparted everything else I knew to her in exchange for her hospitality. A few months passed, but I was finally ready to enter Blackreach. I used the attunement sphere that Obeth had provided and descended into the depths. My goal was to gather enough Crimson Nirnroot to produce my greatest alchemical creation to date. I was certain it would take at least 30 of them to provide the necessary catalyst. This brings me to the present. My initial research seems to indicate that the Crimson Nirnroot has a similar affinity for moisture as the garden variety, but also maintains some form of symbiotic relationship with the enormous fungi that inhabits Blackreach. It's my guess that the fungi itself is a source of water, absorbing it from the moist subterranean air like a sponge. This provides the ideal environment for the Nirnroot to grow. Unfortunately, the Crimson Nirnroot appears to have a vastly shortened lifespan, and they are in no way plentiful down here. Gathering 30 of them will be quite the challenge, but hopefully the denizens of Blackreach will allow me to gather my samples unhindered. Oh, poor Sinderion. Clearly did not work out. I'd bet that he died not long after getting here. Dead for close to 150 years. Alright, what else are we looking at here? Stuck on the terrain there. Nope, doesn't look like anything. Oh, man, but, poor Sinderion. I mean, he's an NPC that you meet, in Oblivion. I don't know how many of you who are watching have actually played Oblivion. I'm legitimately curious about this, because Skyrim is the most successful fantasy game ever made, okay? I think by sheer order of numbers, it is the most sold, the most played, the most successful fantasy game ever made in existence. I mean, as long as you're not being really, really loose with the word game and saying, well, you know, Dungeons and Dragons is a game, and it's like, that's not what I meant, but my point stands. I don't think that there's any other fantasy franchise, well, maybe as a franchise, other games have outsold, Skyrim. Probably, without question, other fantasy franchises have outsold Skyrim. But as far as games, like video games go, and as single entries, I don't think that there's been a more successful game, fantasy game other than Skyrim. I'm fairly certain that that's backed by sales numbers as a statement. You'll have to look it up. I don't know it off the top of my head. But my point is, with how wildly successful and, you know, well-traveled Skyrim is, it raises the question to me, how many people actually, how many people actually know about Oblivion? Or more, like, how many people know about them versus how many people have actually played them? You know, when it's like, oh, I played Skyrim, but I never played the other one. Like, how many of you guys have actually played Oblivion? Because, like, the whole quest, I'm, you know, not on it anymore, I already finished it. Yeah, sure, never should have come here, whatever you say, Khajiit. But, you know, the whole thing is the returning to your roots, I think it was? I don't remember. The quest for the Crimson Nirnroot, that's a callback, you know, to Oblivion, where you had to, I think, collect a total of 100 samples of just the normal Nirnroot. And Nirnroot was something that was introduced in Oblivion. Like, it didn't exist in any of the prior games, to my knowledge. I know that it didn't exist in Morrowind. I've never actually played the Elder Scrolls 1 or 2. I mean, a bit of a dirty secret there for me. But, Nirnroot was introduced in Oblivion, and it didn't respawn. Yeah, it just flat out did not respawn. So you had to find, in total, 100 samples to finish the quest. The quest, like, the rewards you got were, in all honesty, a little bit mediocre. And, you gotta be kidding me. But the rewards you got for, you know, completing the quest of, you know, seeking your roots in Oblivion, the rewards were a little bit mediocre and everything, but... well, I mean... it was a long quest with a lot of heavy lifting without a lot of rewards. A little bit like... well, in all honesty, it's a little bit like the stone of... collecting all the stones of Baron Zaya in this game. So... alright, so I'm getting fairly close to getting through this central... prison? I feel like this is a prison for the Falmer. But... yeah, some people don't think that the... I've talked to a lot of people who think that collecting all the stones of Baron Zaya is like, you gotta be kidding me. It's a real dumb thing. You get a perk. If you collect all the stones of Baron Zaya, you get a perk that spawns extra gemstones inside of loot caches. That's it. Now, personally, I have an obsession. Like, you guys don't see me doing it very much. You don't see me managing my inventory back in any of the houses that I've built in this playthrough, but I don't sell my gemstones off. I have an unhealthy obsession with gemstones, and that extends into real life. If I could, you know, if I could pick up gemstones here and there, if I was made of money, I would be buying, like, diamonds and sapphires and topaz and rupees just here and there, and I would just be dumping them. Like, I would have a pirate chest, and I would just be putting them in there, you know? Because I have an unhealthy fascination and obsession with gemstones. So naturally, in a game... I would, you know, be, like, I indulge that obsession. So, anyways, my point is, the Stones of Baron Zaya quest, you know, you get a perk that spawns more gemstones, and I think that that's amazing, but I've talked to a lot of people who were like, that is the dumbest thing ever. Why on earth would you do that? Those things are so useless in the first place. You just pick them up to sell them. So, I don't know, to each their own. But to the same effect, seeking your roots in Oblivion, where you had to find 100 Nirnroot, and the Nirnroot did not regrow once you picked them. They went away and they never came back. There was, like, I think there's a finite number of Nirnroot in Cyrodiil, which is where Oblivion takes place. I think there was 130 to 150 Nirnroot in total in the entirety of Cyrodiil. And, well, I mean, it meant that it was very possible to finish it, but it didn't mean that you wouldn't be doing a lot of work. That was kind of, you know, it was just a long-winded, it was a long-winded quest with no quest markers, and you had to do a lot of heavy lifting on it, you know, so, I never really had a problem with it. The problem was that you had to go out of your way to finish the Seeking Your Roots quest in Oblivion, because the Nirnroot did not spawn in temples. It did not really, at least in no reliable capacity. Alright, how do I get to him? Where are the stairs up to this guy? Must be over here. But there was a particular reliable way to get all the Nirnroot, but you had to go out of your way to do it, because and overall it just involved never going into dungeons. It never involved, you know, doing quests for any of the guilds or the main quest or anything. Literally the fastest way to get all of the Nirnroots. I remember I was talking with a pal of mine named Bob, who, like, I was complaining about it because he was the one who played the game before me. What the... Oh, piece of... Alright. You know, I'll finish this story in a minute. What I need to do right now is do something here. A little bit special. Alright. So, there are a lot of secrets in Skyrim. You may not be aware of all of them, but this is one of them. That is a tonal lock. Or, well, it obviously emits a tone if you shout at it. This is a one-time opportunity. Look at that. It's a special dragon. This is actually a named dragon. You only have one opportunity to kill him, and if you don't kill him after you summon him by shouting at that big old sphere, then he goes away, and you do not have another opportunity to kill him. So we're gonna kill ourselves a dragon. I'm gonna need some help. I don't wanna... I should be fine because of this, the armor spell I've got here. Volthiol, I think his name is. He's certainly a tank. Look at how much freaking damage he's soaking up from my hammer. Sure, it's not the best hammer in the game, but it does a lot of damage. Right, come here, you prick. Die! I am Dragonborn. I shall eat your soul. Oh my god, I never get those finishing moves. Oh, this is great. Oh, so good. I always loved, like, as one of the few dragons in the game that you have to go out of your way to actually take, like, find, this is one of the few dragons that, I enjoyed killing. Alright, the Tower Mazark should be right over there, so... The dragon soul in the bag. And I'm over encumbered. Alright, there we go. So anyways, like I was saying about, yeah, my pal, he was the one who introduced me to the Elder Scrolls because he had just recently gotten an Xbox, and, you know, Oblivion was a fairly early game for the Xbox, and, for the 360, and he was playing it, and, you know, I picked it up because of him, and then he, like, I was complaining about the fact I had no clue how the hell to, finish off the quest seeking your roots. I was like, it's ridiculous. Where the hell do you find all of the frickin' roots? And he was like, no, it's really easy, man. You follow any coastline. Like, you follow the bank of the rivers and, like, the coast of the lakes. That's all you have to do, because you will find all of the Nirn root you need, and more. And I was floored when I was like, you gotta be kidding me, that's it? And he said, yeah. At which point, like, I think within the next week or so, I sat down with the game, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna test this. And I specifically spent 45 minutes to an hour and a half literally just following all the rivers and the lakes. Because basically all the bodies of water in Oblivion are connected. Almost all of them, anyway. And I found more Nirn root than I needed to finish the game. To finish the quest, and I was just like, this is crazy, this is insane, I couldn't believe it. I proceeded to eventually turn that into a guide. If you search my channel for Nirn root guide or something, you'll actually find something for, the specific quest. And I actually detail that, but I mean, God. Yeah, so, you know, Crimson Nirn root, you know, returning to your roots, it's a reference to the original from Oblivion. So, there you go, a little bit of story time with me and my experience with Oblivion, which still is my favorite, I mean, because it was my favorite entry in the because it was my first experience with the Elder Scrolls, naturally it is my favorite. That being said, I found myself going back to Morrowind more than Oblivion these days, because, God, Morrowind is a game that has not aged well, but for a myriad of reasons, you get way more immersed in it whenever you really get stuck in. So. Oh boy. Okay, so Dorkt, or Drokt, however you say your name. Journal of Drokt. I weren't never one for writing about my life. The king priests of old deserve their stories told, but Drokt is a simple man. So this isn't no journal and I'm not telling any stories here. But this infernal machine done worked its way into my brain space, and I won't leave till it's figured out. The whole contraption just sits like a dead horker if you don't have the box. Putting the box in the hole made it all come to life. 5 rings, but only 4 buttons? Most of them don't work most of the time anyhows. When the lights line up, more open, but they don't seem to help. Just makes another damn thing move. The old fleabag Khajiit what sold me this cube said something about the light through the knowledge through the machine rests the cube. I remember because he made me say it back to him till I wanted to throttle him. So I did. Tried to leave, but wolves to the top and them eyeless freaks outside the tower. Gotta stay here till I get it right. And I will get it right. Whoa. Well, lexicon's not blank anymore. Oh my word. Oh, God. This is, I mean, I was really impressed whenever I first saw this. An Elder Scroll. Because the Elder Scrolls, despite the fact that it's the namesake of the franchise... oh, jeez. Impressive contraption. Despite the fact that Elder Scrolls is the namesake of the franchise, there were no Elder Scrolls. Elder Scrolls didn't have anything to do with the main quest in Morrowind or Oblivion. So, yeah. Tower of Mazark. Alright. Oh, my god. Breathe that fresh air, thank god. This must be the expedition or camp for the guy who was down there. Whatever his name was, who wrote the journal. So, not Sinderion, the other guy, whose name I strangely cannot remember right off the top of my head. Well then, you know what? Let's just properly loot this entire camp. There's no reason not to walk away with a little bit more loot. I mean, I did just basically equip all of my, my stuff that, gives me additional carrying capacity. So, yeah. But I was floored whenever I played through the main quest here in Skyrim for the first time. It was just, you're kidding me. You actually have Elder Scrolls in the main quest? That didn't happen in the last 2 games. Alright, so, let's get out of here. I've got to get out to Solitude. Also need to sell some stuff off, so... Solitude, here I come. Even though I don't really know where it is that I am.